Let us introduce our first finalist. It's Tiddler!
And Tiddler's opponent, none other than Firebat!
You guys, I feel honored to be here on stage with you, so thank you for entertaining us all weekend. Simple question, Tiddler, what's it feel like to be here at BlizzCon in front of all these people?
Thank you for all your support, and I love you.
They love you back.
Firebat, anything you want to say to the people?
Thanks for all the support, and everybody that plays Hearthstone is awesome.
Tournaments, this one of the biggest. You have taken a few second places. This could be the tournament where you finally take first, yes?
Yes, maybe it's the first time I can get the championship, so I will try my best. Thank you.
And Firebat, when we first started this tournament circuit, you said your goal was to be recognized. You wanted to be invited. You wanted to be seen as one of the greatest Hearthstone players in the entire world. And if you win this event, there is no choice but to recognize you as such. Is that your goal?
That's my goal.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help us usher these players into the playing area with a large round of applause. Go ahead, gentlemen. You guys have been awesome. It has been so much fun to hang out here in the Tavern of Champions. We have had players, developers, Blizzard employees, all sorts of folks coming up and enjoying us. And thank you for being here. But let's not leave out our narrators of this grand finals. Guys, we're finally here all this time, all these qualifiers, all these games. Casters, are you as excited as this hall is?
Absolutely, Wheat and Seltzer, thank you so much for that great introduction. We could not be more excited for Firebat versus Tiddler. This is what it comes down to. One player is going home with the title as World Championship and $100,000 US.
You know, Artosis and Doa, they've talked a lot about Tiddler Celestia and how great of a player he is. And we've talked a lot about this weekend about how great of a player that Firebat is. I couldn't think of a more appropriate finals from this also. It's from two players from opposite sides of the world. Tiddler's come all the way from China. And again, as he said, you know, he's got some second place finishes. WCA won a ton of money there. Firebat's just a city boy from South Detroit. And he's come a long way, and he ain't going to stop believing. There's $100,000 to win here.
Oh, man. I'm so excited. This is the single most important match in the history of Hearthstone. We're going to crown the world champion after this.
That's right, and only one of them can do it. And unfortunately, it's been a long journey for both of them, but one player does have to lose, and one player will get all of the glory. Now, these two guys have gone through a lot. You know, Tiddler did have to go through both Tare and Kranj to get to these finals, both players who've been formidable, but Firebat also had his fair share of difficult opponents, going through Cower, going through D2, and almost being eliminated in the group stage where he had to get through second place in order to get here to the finals.
Yep.
Yeah, I certainly agree. It's an amazing way. He had to qualify for this tournament as well. So this was a long way for both of the players. But you know what? They are here. To become a world champion right now for both Tiddler and Firebat is to win only one more match.
That's right. One best of five.
One best of five.
It's still going to be best of five. One veto. Nothing's really changed whatsoever. But as much as it's tried and true, everything feels fresh and and new. Like, Firebat's never been to a stage like this before. He says it was his dream, a dream come true for him. Like you said, he's just a boy from Detroit trying to just make his way through Hearthstone. And at the same time, he's facing the crowd. He told me it was a very emotional moment for him. Let's take a look at these players a little bit more for anybody who's just joining us for the first time and learning more about these Chinese players as well as these American players.
Yeah, so Tiddler, you know, we saw him earlier. This guy loves board games, and he's a card game specialist. Of course, he's coming to this, going to the grand finals. You know, it's part of what brings him together. And he talked a little bit yesterday about how he loves television. They were calling him Supernatural from there. And,
yeah, that's right.
Throwing a couple of questions.
He said his favorite show is Prison Break.
Yeah.
And he identifies with Michael Scofield.
Which I think it's just perfect, spot on for
Do you think his family ever beats him in board games?
On the other hand, we have Firebat, who is one of the best players in the world, one of the best players from NA. He is consistently the top. He consistently gets the top places on the ladder. Just he qualified from just being one of the best players on the ladder from the American servers. So this guy is super consistent. Everybody respects him, and he's here. Like he grinded his way through all those players and. Just sitting in an inn and at the fireplace in this magical world.
Firebat is a player who's meticulously tested all of his decks and matchups, that's for certain. Every time I consult him about how he's doing in a tournament, he's like, well, here, take a look at my docs that I have, the spreadsheets that I have. And it is crazy to see his plan preparation. He guesses players with a 90% plus accuracy on what they're going to do and what they're going to ban. That's what he told me.
Yeah, based on their leads and what they're going to, what he anticipates they're going to lead with and what they're going to ban.
You can't confuse this guy.
No, it's real. It's just, I mean, this guy is on point. He studies all of his opponents. And like you said, he's done a lot of his research. And coming into this match right here, I already like that he's banned out Hunter because one of the most powerful decks he's got against it is that Zoo Warlock deck. It's going to put a ton of pressure on Hunter and look to end the game early. But Tiddler, he's taken out that Warlock straight away. He knows that Firebat has been crushing people all tournament with this deck, something he definitely does not want to face in such an important matchup is the ability to just lose control of the board and not be able to recover.
Well, so it's such a powerful deck, so I totally agree with banning it. Also, Tiddler just played in the WCA final where he lost to a Zoo deck, so he respects the Zoo as much, and you know, I wouldn't like to lose against the same deck again in the final.
That's not how you want to go out in the finals. Not anymore. Not in this grand finals where everything is on the line. Guys, really quick, predictions. Nips, you start off first.
Well, my prediction will be Tiddler because he has he is an experienced player playing in those big tournaments. He played IM Shenzhen, he played WCA, so he has a lot of offline experiences. He played many games before. Firebat, also an experienced player, but not as experienced as an offline one.
I've been saying it since the first day I ever played with Firebat. I thought he was one of the best in the world. The amount of research he does, the amount of practice he puts in, and just the kind of mind he's got for the game. I've followed him the entire way through this. You know, he was second seed in NA or the Americas coming into this. He dominated Stage 2 of BlizzCon. He's dominated this tournament all the way to the grand finals. I got to go with my boy Firebat.
I'm going to take Firebat as well. I think it also means a lot. He's playing on homeland soil as the American representative here in California. So here we go, 2 votes against 1. Let's see what happens. Game number 1 is about to begin at the grand finals of the Hearthstone World Championship. Let's get it on.
All right, BlizzCon.
Druid versus Druid to begin things off. We're going to start with a very safe approach. It's decent against everything. And people say that Druid's well-equipped, but it's not favored against many things. It's okay and decent against pretty much the entire field.
Yeah, I feel like the matchups, when you bring Druid to a tournament, the matchups you expect to face, Druid is going to have a lot of close matchups in those. You know, when it's behind, you know, it's looking like the 45% range. When it's ahead, it's looking at about the 55% range. So,
sure,
you know, nothing crazy. You're just you're looking.
Super important card this matchup. You want to have it to be able to play the cards faster. Druid also doesn't have that many common mechanisms. Firebat against Wild as well.
This is a mirror match, right?
They're very similar decks. You saw Firebat has he's Sun Fury Protector in there. He's going to use that in combination with cards like Spectral Knight to really help put a lot of leverage on his opponent's ability to pick through his board. Hunter specifically with Kill Command and Hunter's Mark. And of course you see Tiddler, he's running Haunted Creeper in this instead. So a little bit of a difference coming in.
Well, getting that wild growth is important, but both players have wild growth to curve into something very nicely, so all's well that ends well, I suppose. We're not going to have a blowout, at least by the mana curve tempo.
Oh yeah, certainly. Both players also have a Yeti. So right now it will be very important who will get the lead, because Druid has trouble coming from behind. You don't have that many comeback mechanisms. You have the combo. This is a very tricky matchup, by the way. Like, you have to focus on trading more. You can't go for face. You need to get an edge whatever you can.
Think of that swipe. That swipe's a really important draw right now.
Yeah.
Both of them have swipe, both of them have big game hunter and wild growth and chill and yay to start things off. I guess they're evenly matched, right?
And I love it because sometimes this matchup can be really lopsided if one player gets a wild growth and the second one misses it. A second wild growth.
Right.
I have no
This Sylvanas can be very problematic. She has high impact, and she doesn't mess around.
He needs a keeper of the grove.
No, it doesn't have a silence. And this is presenting a problem already for Firebat. The board means a lot in this matchup.
So what do you do if you can't deal with Sylvanas? Do you just ignore Sylvanas and go for face? Like, this is one of the strategies that the players can apply. But maybe there is something better.
Yeah, if you take a look, I mean, he does have 12 points of damage if he chooses to charge this Druid, and that really sends a big statement to your opponent. Something that you're worried about, of course, is whether or not this Sylvanas is going to die next turn. If your opponent doesn't have a Wrath or a way to like give your opponent minions 1 power, this Sylvanas is going to stay on the board for another turn. So even through something like that, he would be able to take out a couple of his opponent's minions. But you know, when you're sitting at 14, you're thinking about combo. You know, all those sorts of things can really influence you. So Firebat's got to think about how his opponent's going to respond to a scenario like this. Is this going to be too much charge damage? Is it not worth enough to be putting this kind of pressure on? Can he turtle up? Is there a possibility he can kind of trade down this board? All of these things are going to be thinking about, and I don't blame him here.
Remember, would you just like charge with the Druid of the Claw and deal 12 points of damage?
Hold on, he can't do that. He's going to fish for a card. If he picks up a keeper, maybe that can answer it.
Savage Roar. I think this damage might be headed straight to the dome.
He doesn't pick up a trade at all?
But I think when you get Savage Roar, you can afford to kind of damage some more. I could be wrong. We'll see what happens. Oh, and he's going to go for it. A to the face. That really sending a statement to Tiddler. So Tiddler right now, he's very aware that his opponent is trying to be on the aggression. And he's going to piece together a way to start picking apart this board and make sure that a Savage Roar isn't going to blow him out of the game.
What's very important in this matchup also is that you are not running many taunts. We are seeing this Druid of the Claw, but other than that, mostly players are not getting Defender Vargas or Sentry Protector. So if you go for face, it's really hard to, you know, protect yourself and heal yourself. And even with Vengeance Floor, you want to draw the cards to be able to get the combo faster instead of just healing.
Right.
So Tiddler, when he lines up this play, it looks like he wants to use swipe to clear. Try to, as best as he can, control the state of damage, but he did take a lot.
Yep.
Although it is nice that he has Sylvanas still alive.
Yeah, I absolutely like the way he's played this hand too, but you know, commendations to Firebat too. He recognized that his opponent was going to have to put the pressure on his minions instead of on his own board. So he gets a hero power the Sylvanas down.
Right.
So the value that it gets straight away was just damage value, and it wasn't too much to your face. So now he's got the So now he's got the option of whether he wants to play this Loatheb or charge. But I think he's going to play this Loatheb right here because if you look at next turn, when he charges that Druid of the Claw, he's got Savage Roar. That's 15 points of damage coming across the board. Should he choose to take that?
Yeah, that's a lot of damage. He also is playing Sentry Protector. This will be important in this matchup because you can't protect yourself and just continue going for face.
Wipe not available, Wrath not available. This turn looking really rough for Tiddler.
Hearthstone Jones is not that useful in this matchup. It would be against weapon classes like Firebat's Grove, but if he loses it, then there's no point in attacking at the point. He just uses a 5-4 body as the best he can do to contest the board.
But now, the play is right back on Firebat now because he's in almost the exact same situation he was with the Sylvanas. Does he want to take out this Harrison Jones?
Okay.
That Shade and X Realm is really going to change this dynamic.
That's
so
pretty nice.
Almost certainly going to be using Swipe this turn. So he's going to take out this Haunted Creeper, make sure no Savage Roar shenanigans can happen. The Swipe's going to clean things up, and now he's positioned himself for lethal.
This is bad
next
news
turn.
for Tiddler.
Tiddler's going to need some. I imagine the Swipe's going to be coming out, but I don't know if that's going to be enough.
Yeah, this is so tough for Tiddler. He needs to clear the board and just develop the board on his side to be able to sneak in some damage next turn. But there is the Savage Roar, there is Druid of the Claw for Firebat. So whatever happens, he has an edge right now.
Savage Roar is, what, 13 points of damage?
Yeah, he's got 13 right now. Oh, another Druid of the Claw.
This is so much damage coming from Firebat. Do you use Savage Roar though this turn? Or do you just, you know, continue doing Some damage.
I think it's definitely worth the wait because, you know, something that he's going to be thinking about, though, is if his opponent's got combo, he's got more than enough damage to kill him at this point. So Force of Nature, Savage Roar, that's 14 damage by itself. Those 3 charge tokens, then Savage Roar, +2 to everything that you control on your side of the board. That big game hunter is 4 more power than he needs. That could put lethal back on Firebat. So he's thinking about combo being in his opponent's hand right now. This is a possibility. It wouldn't surprise me to see either one of these guys go into taunt or to see this Shady Nexronomus trade away.
You can also like charge the cat, deal 4 points of damage, and then taunt the cat. So we have a 4/4 taunt. Then combo doesn't kill you.
I think it's great.
I think either way, Firebat wants to start finding ways to get that damage until you draw that Force of Nature to put out those bodies so that Savage Roar gives that 14 points of burst. You're just looking at Savage Roar with Through the Claw to put in the finishing points. And don't forget, that Shady Nexronomus is going to grow next turn. So his Tiddler Celestial is going to have a big onus to clear this board as best as he can.
Can he do this?
Wow.
With Wild Growth and Wrath?
Protecting his Through the Claw. There's Savage Roar, but no Force of Nature in hand.
Can he fish for another card to save him here, or does he have to use it to remove?
I think you got to use this removal. But I don't think this is enough, though.
Right, because the Druid of the Claw charge is still going to be a
Savage Roar for removal. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, this is
5/6. That's 13
because
points
he
of
didn't
damage.
use it. That's going to do it for game number 1. Firebat has a lot of damage. Now all he has to do is piece it together.
It's tough not to piece this one together. This is a 1 + 1 = 3 Amaz math right here. Charge this Druid of the Claw, Savage Roar. I believe this is 13 points of damage.
This
Guys.
is over. Firebat is getting a lead. 1 game for Firebat.
First blood, Firebat.
Oh man, that was an intense game. Back and forth, punches everywhere, and Firebat is going to have a lead.
Really showing a lot
man.
about what this Druid match is about. As you said, Nimch, it's tough for Druids to recover once they get behind, so both these players trying to take initiative. Both of them had great starts too, coming out with Wild Growth, Chill and Yeti, scaling into the mid game. The difference is the fact that Firebat is going first in this, so he gets an extra turn to start attacking.
Right.
So when he's the player that starts attacking first, his opponent's going to have to respond, because if he chooses to trade, Firebat's going to be the first one with an opportunity to use Savage Roar and really clear that game up. And then, of course, the great recognition, understanding that Sylvanas having to trade back instead of having to deal with the Sylvanas, a lot of damage got pushed through there that I'm not sure that I would have made the exact same plays that he did.
Well, that Firebat is sitting there, and he's a possible world champion in a couple of games. So what is Tiddler going to do? He has Priest and Warlock left. What's the best deck to counter the Druid?
Well, the Handlock deck presents a lot of threats for Druid to respond immediately. In fact, Druid has to fight with their removal. They don't have cards that instantly says kill this minion or destroy this minion. They have cards that says do damage. So if you have like those big giants or even the Twilight Drakes, you don't have a silence for it. It has 10 health. How do you remove that efficiently if you're a Druid player without committing 2, maybe even 3 cards? It's really difficult. So oftentimes, the Handlock player draws cards easy with their hero power, and they're putting out big threats, and Druid has to either find a way to kill them before they die, or they have to line up the removal perfectly with cards like Big Game Hunter and the Silence of the Twilight.
I certainly agree. I think Handlock is a good matchup against the Druid. Where Priest, it's a bit tricky. Like, the Druid has a lot of 4-attack minions, especially a Spectral Knight, which can't be targeted. So if you take a Priest, you are going to have a bad time. Handlock is like a good pick.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. I think Handlock is very similar in terms of its mid-range presence. You know, Mountain Giant is just it's a lot bigger than a Chillwind Yeti is. Kind of both these guys are playing on curve, so if you don't see a Wild Growth in your opening hand, you're playing on even ground with your opponent, and they just have bigger minions than you at that point. The edge has to go to the Warlock, I think.
You know, at the same time, I've also seen some people, they don't mind Priest versus Druid that much, even though you would feel like conventional trains of thought, meaning like, I don't feel like I can actually compete with the speed of Druid, but who knows? It really is choice up to Tiddler Celestial. Game number 2 is about to begin, and this is crucial, because if you go down 0-2, how on earth are you going to have to win 3 games in a row against Firebat when he still has plenty of gas where it came from, because he's got his own Hunter, and he has that Miracle Rogue deck?
If you do deserve to be the world champion.
All right, game number 2 is about to begin. What's going to happen? What will Tiddler Celestial choose? It has to be the right answer, because Firebat is looking for the win.
I'm so excited, by the way, to see how Firebat is going to play this Druid. It's a fantastic deck. It's really honest. Like, you play those big minions, Yetis, use the Savage or First Nature combo.
Druids think they're honest, and I know Admirable definitely would agree usually with that, but there is a card called Innervate and Wild Growth, which can be a little dishonest.
Those cards are totally fair. You know, actually, Tiddler's going to queue a Priest here, and I think part of what influenced his decision is the fact that he saw the big game Hunter in that Druid deck. I wonder if that's worrying him a little bit. Something he doesn't want to play a Giant and get blown out by a big game Hunter. You know, a little bit of early pressure and then follow that up. That's something that can present a pretty big problem.
It could be. Although I do know some Panlock players feel like, you know what, even if they're big game hunters, there's still 3 other Giants. And the fact that I had Taraxis, it's still difficult for Druid to deal with this.
Oh, wow. Firebat has the coin. He doesn't have the Wild Growth or Innervate yet. But Tiddler, he has the Alkanai Soul Priest and the Circle of Healing combo.
Well, nothing screams value like a turn 1 Chillwind Yeti and being able to attack your opponent.
Wow.
Oh, wow. And another Chillwind Yeti.
This is looking devastating. How can you turn this down?
And Chillwind Yeti is
look at
resistant
this.
to the Alkanai Soul Priest, Circle of Healing combo, dealing 4 damage to the board.
You know, picking up that second Chillwind Yeti, it has a little bit of potential to change his play right here because he'll have a turn 2 Chillwind Yeti, I know it's disappointing. He'll have a turn 2 Chillwind Yeti, a turn 3 Shade Extramus, and then a turn 4 Chillwind Yeti. So he's playing a lot heavier on curve when he does it this way.
Oh, wow. He has a Wild Growth, so his line of play can change again.
Yeah, I almost certainly I think he's got to go over the Chillwind Yetis at this point. Yeah.
And turn 3 Chillwind Yeti as well.
Yeah, he could play turn 3 Chillwind Yeti, or he could play turn 3 Shade Extramus.
Is that the best start ever?
It's one of the best because Priest can't deal with these 4-tag creatures with high health very easily. They get bullied because they don't have removal spells to line up for it.
Yep. You're seeing that right here straight away. Tiddler just has to play this just to try to deal 3 damage with it.
Another 4-attack minion for Firebat. But you know what? Tiddler, he has Alkanai Soul Priest combo, he has Sylvanas, he has his Holy Smite as well. So there are some ways to deal with this board. Also, a free 4-Dark Cultist represents some damage, so maybe Firebat will have to trade into it.
Well, generally speaking, you don't want that Dark Cultist Death Route to activate. If it gives a health buff to minions, it makes the Priest board extremely resilient. So Firebat takes a commanding lead on board. This is so difficult to bounce back from.
You know, if there's a kind of hand that could do it, though, of course, it's Alkanai Soul Priest, and Circle of Healing, which turns into Circle of Dealing.
Yeah, I mean, even so.
Or Circle of Death.
Even so.
Everything. This is a tough turn, too. I mean, you're not killing a Chillwind.
You're committing 2 cards to kill off 1.
God, this looks like a Priest turn to me.
I think you can Holy Smite the Yeti and pass.
You know what? That's actually not too bad.
That's super awkward, but this is what you might have to do.
That really gives up a lot to your opponent, though, if you choose to make a play like that. Look at this. It's a Priest turn. Turn 4 pass.
Oh, my
gosh.
Emote, no heal. Tiddler is completely passing back. And you know what? Firebat used an Innervate to gain tempo early on. How far is he ahead of you in terms of mana usage?
Firebat seemed a bit confused.
Yeah, look at that, and he's going to be patient. He knows that Alkanai Circle's in hand. With that play, he could have played that Shade next Ramus. You know, another thing he plays around too is Holy Nova, because that Shade isn't going to be buffed straight away. So Holy Nova would have cleared out 2 of his minions. This is sort of like a blessing and a curse for him. It's like it plays out so well for him because he happens to play around this play that much more.
So Tiddler is 3 cards to kill 2, which he already lost his Dark Cultist. Firebat is pretty happy to see that, probably.
Well, but still, the Yeti was innervated and another Yeti was coined, so it's even more cards. Tiddler is able to deal with those 2 important 4-attack minions and get back to the game.
Sylvanas is going to do some work here, I think.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Sylvanas is a fantastic card to regain board presence.
Yeah, exactly. Really giving him a lot of board presence.
I have no time for games.
Got a lot of pressure now back on Firebat.
I think that Ninja Blade Master isn't.
And he draws Keeper of the Grove.
Silence, the best answer to Sylvanas the Druid has.
Yeah, you silence and deal with it immediately, right? There's no way you're letting Sylvanas do her own devices here. It's just too dangerous. She can take so many things. The Shadow Word Death provides such a problem because he can steal even the Shade next Ramus.
Yeah, I think part of it too is he kind of wants to get out of his hand before his opponent has an opportunity to really get a lot of value from it. Like say he chooses to taunt up Druid the Claw or something here, that gives his opponent a really good turn with everything that's different because just even a Holy Nova at that point is devastating play. You just really don't want Sylvanas. You don't want to have to be pressured to play your Keep of the Grove. You kind of want to get it out of your hand now and make sure that you don't have to play it on your opponent's turns rather than.
Guys, but look at this. It seems like Firebat was winning the game with double Yeti, but right now Tiddler is back and he is rocking this.
And this injured Blade Master is pretty good to have it at your fighting on your side because Druid again has a hard time dealing with high health minions.
A 4-7. How do you deal with a 4-7? Well, Karen is a fantastic card.
So Karen is a pretty good way to start that. It's a tough one for Priest to have to chew through. Firebat, he's looking for Savage Roar right now. You take a look, he's got Force of Nature in his hand. And that Shade's going to keep growing. If it gets big enough, just Force of Nature Savage Roar with that Shade out's going to be enough for lethal.
You're right, because the closer he gets the grows, remember, he's going to add that 2 damage. Right now, if he just had combo and the mana to do it, it'd be 21 damage, and that's just going to keep going every turn from this point on.
Right, it's just a dangerous situation. It seems like this game is about training minions, but Firebat is having his finger on a trigger, and he can fire. If he gets a Savage Roar, he's just can sweep the game right there.
Well, he's protecting his other minion that he just played as soon as possible. Karen is also another sticky minion on the board. As soon as he dies, he summons another 4 or 5 minions, so he still had the threat of comboing.
And 4 attacks, so Shadow or Death is not doing anything with this Karen or even the Shade of Hatsramas.
But there is hesitation.
Yeah,
I mean, this is a tougher decision.
There's a lot of merit to both of these plays, both waiting and trading away, because, you know, as you said, it's tough. This can't be Shadow or Death. It's got to hit a power 5 or greater. So this Karen really likely to stick to the board right now. No silence in Tiddler Celestial's hand. He doesn't even have a direct way to kill it, so this is likely to get in 4 or 5 points of damage.
You know, Spectre Knight also is a little problematic because as the Priest player, normally you try to use your hero power to keep your minions as alive as long as possible, but you can't even heal your men here.
Yeah, 4/6 body is still pretty good. Look, Tiddler just has to straight away start attacking his opponent's face. So this is going to start opening it up again for Firebat to start trading with his opponent's life total. And he picks up Savage Roar.
He is one damage off of killing his opponent, though.
My gosh, you're gonna. I imagine you're going to probably see a Lotheb or a charge here or something to start applying the pressure right back, because something in his mind is how Defender of Argus or Sludge Belcher is going to muck up this board right now.
Lotheb
He's got to take his time and be careful and figure out which one of these decisions is going to give him the most pressure.
Well, Lotheb is creating a situation where Priest has to trade, and he won't be able to use the spells effectively. Shadow or Death for 8 points of mana. And how do you deal with Karen?
That spends pretty much his entire turn. If he does that, he will die. What Tiddler needs is to shut down his opponent's ability to play the combo and find a way to survive. Otherwise, he is done.
Tiddler needed to taunt that turn. I don't think he's no way to survive this turn anymore. Force Nature Savage Roar is going to do it. Firebat's going to take a 2-0 lead in the finals against Tiddler Celestial with the Force of Nature Savage Roar combo.
The power of the Druids.
This is exactly what Tiddler didn't want to see. My goodness.
The Trends just charging. Power of the Forest.
A 2-0 lead for Firebat. And with a 2-0 lead, you have to peg him as the heavy favorite. And you know what? A little bit of flair and ending it. I like it.
Wow. Unbelievable.
He is one game away from being the Hearthstone World Champion and earning $100,000.
That was an unbelievable game. You know, I think both of these players really played this game fantastic, but this was a prime example of just how powerful Druid can be when it's got an advantageous matchup. It really put maximum pressure on. It started out with an early Chillwind Yeti. Tiddler was forced to play a Dark Cultist just to try to stifle his opponent's early game from snowballing completely out of control. He had to basically sacrifice his Dark Cultist for that. And then you saw Firebat being really patient with the Wild Growth turn, making sure he didn't overextend into a Holy Nova or the Alkanai Soul Priest combo, which is what Tiddler had, and I think that was really the key turn for the game.
But this is not over yet. Tiddler is down to his Headlock deck, and he won a couple of series with a 3-0 sweep. We've seen that before. He's an expert Headlock player, very patient. He knows how to play the deck. He knows his matchups. If I would pick one deck, if I would have to pick one deck that Tiddler can use to 3-0 Firebat right here, I would say it's Headlock.
His handlock play, he even used in semifinals to 3-0 his opponent, and he played pretty well there. So I feel like it's not over by any means. Tiddler still has a shot, but it's going to be tough because Firebat still has the Hunter waiting in reserve. that deck can give the handlock, honestly, a big handful of pressure that you can't deal with.
Yeah, you know, I think he decided to anchor handlock here again, Nimsh, as you were saying, because it's such a big comfort pick for him. He's so good at playing Warlock class. Not only that, but this is one of his specialties that he just didn't want it to be eliminated and be left on a priest deck, something perhaps he's a little bit more unfamiliar with, because I think Warlock certainly would have been a better matchup against the Druid there, but he chose to go with priest, and that's showing some of the mindset these players have. More comfortable picks for them mean a lot more. When they're in those options, they've seen these scenarios before, they've done it thousands of times. That's the place you want to be at. You don't want to be going in with unfamiliar matchups, especially not in something as important as this match right here.
Oh yeah, the comfort zone is really important, and you want to go with your preference. And you know, losing handlock randomly to a Druid deck is something that you definitely don't want to see. Right now, he's down to his handlock, and he knows that this is his last deck, his last chance of becoming the world champion. Oh man.
It's his last life, not his last chance for sure. He's still got 3 games that he has to do it. But Firebat is up 2-0. Will he go for the sweep? Will we crown our first Hearthstone World Champion right after this game? Let's find out as we go into Handlock versus Druid.
Horde versus Alliance.
That's cool, Dan versus Valkyrian.
That is right. That is right, Nimsh. And we'll find out who, once again, will get the better of each other. Now, this Druid deck still has an opportunity, a small window, if you will, to kill off that handlock if they get the Savage Roar combo and there's no taunts. But ever since Nax Rammus came out, it feels like handlock is improving consistently a lot with cards such as Sludge Belcher.
Oh my god, Firebat has the Wild Growth. This is one of the most important cards because if you start playing cards earlier against the handlock, you won't be able to respond. You play something they want to Siphon Soul, but they find themselves that it's a turn 4, they can't afford it. They don't have enough mana.
Keeper of the Grove. That's also another really important card in this matchup is Keeper of the Grove. This Twilight Drake, it gets all of its health from a buff that it gives to itself. So if you silence that off, that's a 1-health Keeper of the Grove you're looking at. I'm sorry, the 1-health Twilight Drake you're looking at. And then you couple that with something like Wild Growth, that's going to allow him oftentimes to be able to just hero power it down instead of having to worry about trading off his Keeper of the Grove for it.
But still, right now, Tiddler has a decent hand with Mountain Giant and Molten and Farseer as well. He will be able to develop his board. It's Twilight Drake. Do you think Twilight Drake is a big card right now?
Twilight Drake is still a decent value card. Even if he silences, like you mentioned, he had to deal with the 4-attack minion. But when you have something to play preemptively, then it becomes a lot better. You're trading against a really high health minion. That said, what do you feel like is the better course of action? He does have the Mountain Giant coming up in the next couple turns as well. Do you like playing the Giant? Do you like playing the Drakes?
Yeah, this is going to be a really couple key turns, I think, for Tiddler here because he has seen Big Game Hunter from this deck already. So something that's coming into his mind is, does he want to play this Mountain Giant and risk getting Big Game Hunter, or does he want to start going for the Twilight Drake straight away?
He also has 2 Twilight Drakes,
which
means you can coin out one and then play it the next turn. But we do know that there's a perfect response twice in a row from Firebat.
Right, that second Twilight Drake may actually end up costing him a lot in this. Sort of a reversal of fortune here. It's got 2 Keepers that grow, so both of them going to get taken out straight away.
Sorry about that.
Oh, I cry every
Good
time.
old American manners.
I got this.
By being Tiddler here, you don't expect a second Keeper of the Grove, so you do follow up with the Twilight Drake. That was your original plan. For sure you are disappointed that it was a Keeper.
Oh man, I have more bad news for Tiddler. There's more where that came from.
Oh my gosh.
And Firebat has lined up the silences perfectly. And he can use his hero power and not even trade away his minion.
Tiddler is disappointed
Oh,
for sure.
Firebat, he's squinting like, oh god, this is I feel bad for this guy.
Well, he'll feel really bad if he picks with the Big Game Hunter to follow up on this Mountain Giant too.
Yeah.
I know that would feel in Tiddler's seat. Not a good one. Sludge Belcher, though, starting to put together some gas. And there's the Mountain Giant.
Is it going to be the Big Game Hunter?
I feel like it would have been unfair. It's like, all right, who's giving Firebat these cards?
All right, so what do you do now?
Well, you know, Karen can come out, but the Ironbeak Owl, of course, is going to be in Firebat's mind. So a couple more decisions. He's got multiple ways to develop the board. And it's just about what he wants to play around at this point.
Do you want to kill the Giant? Or do you just want to develop the board?
I think you want to kill the Giant, but I'm not sure it's actually your best course of action at this moment. Simply because there's so many different ways to approach this game. Like, you may be able to just out-trade your opponent at this stage. So it's all those things, of course, going to be in his mind.
You just fun to double Twilight Drake. If you kill this Giant, then Warlock might not have you know, many more cards
Right.
to pressure you.
The Lothab, it's kind of presenting a fork in the road here for Tiddler now. Is Tiddler thinking his opponent's going to go for lethal? Like maybe he's got a Savage Roar and a Swipe in his hand, something like that. He's not going to be able to use like Hellfire, Shadow Flame, any of those cards. Yeah, so he feels pressure to counterattack right here. So Firebat just getting in a couple points of free damage there.
This swipe will be amazing.
Oh, he's got a Wrath too.
Wow, he can actually Wrath the Mountain Giant.
Yeah, and you know, because he was afraid to play Kieran, and that Shadow Flame would have cleared the entire board. Now he can actually safely drop that down. Oh, a lot more safely drop it down before his opponent has to use a lot of his resources in order to get rid of it. And getting these minions to stick on the board is what's really key for this Druid, because as soon as he picks up Savage Roar, that's going to be the key moment where he can flip the switch and find a way to end the game.
Yeah, so I imagine this means there's going to be no attack here from Firebat.
Yeah, there is no need to attack.
Yeah,
he
so
just develops the board.
Gosh, is this going to be Ancient Watch of Shadow Flame? That looks like a real good play to me, but needs an Iron Big Owl to take out that 4/5.
Praxis is can be pretty powerful in this matchup too. Well, the only thing is that he does put you at 15 health, and the combo is always within range of potentially threatening you.
You still have this Lothab, which is a very powerful card. Double Taunt will protect you for some time. And we've seen Tiddler Celestial really patient. He has a lot of options. He might want to get a bit lower to be able to play this multi-giant. He still has the Far Series, so he has everything in his hand. As long as he doesn't die to the combo, he has like heals, removal, taunts, and even Draxus.
He's softening up everything here too, so it's a juicy Hellfire in a couple turns.
This could be really brutal.
I mean, Shadow Flame and Hellfire both are threatening.
There's a really good chance that Firebat actually loses his entire board if he goes for this Chill Yeti here.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like something to say like, how long do you want to hold on to Shade? But at the same time, the AoE from Handlock is so powerful. You don't want to bite off more than you can chew and overextend here.
Yep. So still very likely to lose his whole board here. I think this looks like a really good Shadow Flame turn. You can attack this Cairn, still have a 5/1 left, and then Shadow Flame throwing everything out. This is one of those big swing turns that Handlock uses to try to get control of this matchup. And one of the reasons why Druid has such a poor time against it is because Druid needs its scaling and then to back that up.
That Shadow Flame just cleared the board.
Yeah, he's just been swept out now, so Tiddler has a massive control of this game, healing back up a little bit, and a ton of cards in his hand. Firebat can rebuild, but he still doesn't have anything to follow that up. Maybe I spoke too soon because he picks up a Savage Roar now.
The first part of the combo, he needs Force of Nature, but still.
This Druid deck doesn't seem to have much card draw other than having the ability to cycle with Wrath and the Ancient Lords, but I also saw the Azure Drake, right? So Firebat does have ways to dig deeper into his deck, which is going to be important. Because very soon, there's going to be a point where Handlock will just be drawing a lot of cards. He can't push through the walls, and he's going to be struggling in order to get that damage.
This is how
but
Handlock
can easily clear the board again.
Once more, healing back up.
And you can just establish a taunt. You don't even need the taunt, you can just heal yourself. 90 points of health, that's super secure. No threat of the combo. Combo is 14 damage total.
That's what you think until he has Innervate for a second Savage Roar off the combo.
It is a possibility.
Yeah, the problem is there are a lot of easy ways to just lose this Druid the Claw if you're playing it defensively. The Handlock player we see does have Siphon Soul, and that just easily deals with the Druid the Claw, and then he starts just push back on you.
What about running a 4/4 into a 3/3?
And then you just get straight up Mortal Coil. It's like whatever you do, pick your poison.
He's gonna go with the taunts here. This is gonna prevent Molten Giant from getting played. Oh, Sylvanas gets picked up.
Wow, you can
taunting
just
that
play
Sylvanas.
taunts.
Yeah, and both the silences are already gone. From Firebat's deck, both Keeper of the Groves have been used.
Tiddler Celestial is getting an advantage here. It seems like Firebat ran out of steam. Even though he has Savage and a Swipe, that's potentially a lot of damage. Tiddler is just building a wall.
That's going to be really difficult to chew through. And even if he does go pick up Force of Nature,
this is
one of those cards ends up getting stolen. Ancient of Lore is excellent, though. We're talking about how this Druid deck doesn't often have many ways to draw, but that is one of the primary ones.
Yeah. This board is so much tension is building on this board too. Look at how much power is being built, and I don't think that Firebat's willing to attack this turn.
Do you even play this Ancient of Lore?
Well, the alternative is to set up a removal so that way you can easily transfer over like a weak pair and then just be able to remove it.
What about attacking Sylvanas with those 4/6s and then killing Sylvanas with a shapeshift? And after that, when Sylvanas triggers and steals one of the taunts, maybe swipe and then edge the floor next turn?
I certainly think that's what he's thinking about, is ways to set up swipe turns.
Yeah, this is a very different turn.
Apparently he's thinking about something way different, so.
Okay, well, he's just going to use this to completely trade off. He's okay with either outcome, essentially. And he still gets the Ancient of Lore down. Pretty clever play, actually. He effectively leaves a lot weaker minions on the board, still has one of his creatures.
Specialized.
And he takes 2 cards deeper. It's a good play.
Yeah, that was a really solid line of play. You know, part of that was critical too, was Sylvanas actually taking the 1 health Druid of the Claw instead of the 2 health Druid of the Claw.
Right.
That really could have changed. Well, no, he Savage Ward. Never mind.
Well, it's because of the Mortal Coil.
Yeah,
Honestly, that was a fantastic play. He was able to develop the board and get rid of Sylvanas at the same time.
Okay. I think Siphon Soul's the play here. Still no Molten Giant able to be played though. And so I think Tiddler's a little bit reluctant, I think, to play Jiraxxus before he gets this Molten Giant on the board. So I would.
He does have Shadow Flame, which can deal with the Special Knights if he has a creature to go along with it. But until then, these are untargetable and a little bit hard to deal with.
Double swipe. This is potentially 60 points of damage.
Did you just play a 10-mana Molten Giant?
You can.
Well, he did use Savage Roar, right? So you feel like he has one less possibility of hitting to the combo.
I think you go for a safe Belcher now. And Firebat, he only has 16 points of health.
Of course.
Yeah, there's a little bit of risk associated with this play, but I think it's fine. Your opponent's only got 2 cards in the hand, so the likelihood of Black Knight wasn't very much, but Firebat picks it up.
That is a big draw.
Wow.
Wow, that is a huge draw right now.
But do you attack and enable a Molten Giant and a clear? Or do you just trade? I think you just trade those minions.
Yeah, you don't want to invoke the Wrath of Molten Giants and lose your board pretty easily, right? So, I mean, at the same time, he does have direct damage to follow it up, right? He has 2 swipes that can hit the opponent
he's
straight and their health up.
Yeah, I agree with Nimsh on this one. I think I'm totally content just taking out these minions and kind of going forward from there, because with 2 swipes in your hand, this is 20 points of damage that you have sitting on the board. So if your opponent doesn't take something out, the lethal's a little bit more hidden. Of course, your opponent's going to be thinking about Force Nature, which is 6 points of damage. You're going to think about Savage Roar, which in this position is 8. But they may not be thinking about double swipe. That's one that I think a lot of players often forget about, is that sort of potential.
It's also interesting that he can attack with Shapeshift. 70 points of health. It's not good for the Warlock. He won't be able to play Molten Giant and the Vargas, who you can see exactly right now. So what do you do being Tiddler? It seems like suddenly you're in a weird position.
Yeah, his best chance to survive is Molten Giant with Saucers.
Down to 15.
So he can play one of those Molten Giants and clone it up.
Gosh, Big Game Hunter, I think, is
Big
the
Game
best draw in
Hunter
his
would
deck.
be lethal.
Savage Roar, Force of Nature. I think all of those cards are looking mighty good right now. There's Savage Roar! Oh my gosh!
That's gonna do it.
Yes.
Wait,
Savage
that's
Roar.
enough, right?
Is it enough?
He has the hero power damage with the swipe. And
12.
that should be able to clear. Firebat will
gosh.
be your Hearthstone World Champion.
He doesn't, wait, he didn't even need the Savage Roar! Oh my gosh! Firebat is the 2014 Hearthstone World Champion! GG!
Incredible! The American coming all the way from Detroit on homeland soil will take home $100,000 US, and for one whole year will call himself the best.
3 hours with a trade.
Wow.
Fantastic play.
I'm speechless right now. I can't even, the feeling of being a world champion, unparalleled.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2014 world champion, Firebat. What a wonderful moment to be part of. As a young boy, all the way from Detroit, as his dreams come true right before his very eyes. He watched esports as he was growing up. He watched StarCraft. He watched all these great Blizzard games. And now he gets to partake in it. What an emotional moment to capture.
I just want to hug this guy right now and congratulate him on his win. It's just amazing. Amazing final, amazing winner.
And with that, we want a quick word with the winner. Wheat Rachel is with the winner, Firebat.
Ladies and gentlemen, Firebats! And here to present the Hearthstone Trophy for the Hearthstone World Championships, Mike Morheim, President, CEO, and co-founder here at Blizzard. Mike.
So, big, huge congratulations to Firebat and to all of our Hearthstone contestants this year. You guys have been an amazing esports audience, so excellent job cheering on your favorite pro players, and thank you for supporting Hearthstone.
And thank you, Blizzard, for this incredible game. Firebat, you are our world champion. You have won $100,000. You are the greatest Hearthstone player in the world. How do you feel?
I feel absolutely amazing. Couldn't feel better.
You won this tournament in an incredible way. You had several 3-0 victories. You are a dominant player. What do you think this means for your future as a professional gamer?
Hopefully I actually get invited to stuff.
I think you'll be getting those invitations in the mail now. And I want to ask, your parents, they have to believe in you now. They have to believe in professional gaming. Your fans believe in you as a player. What do you want to say to everyone who's supporting you, everyone who watched your games, and everyone who is looking up to you as the greatest Hearthstone player in the world?
I want to say that if you really want to be a world champion at video games or something, that it's like possible, that you can do it with like whatever's going on and stuff, and really just, even if you don't get invited to stuff and like the big pros like bully you because they think they're like better than you and make you reschedule games and stuff, like just keep working at it and you can do it, because like that's what it took me. A bunch of friends and stuff, we're all working together and just tons of hard work, and we made it.
Congratulations once again, Firebat.
Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, give it up for the Hearthstone scientist, Firebat!